check my phone.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know this is a weird opening for a nail video, but this weekend my husband and I was on our way to Parris Island to attend my nephew's Marine Corps graduation, and our car died. This is a picture of my sister and her family celebrating his graduation. We did not make it, but the very next day we were able to save the day. That's my nephew on the left. And just wanted to share the experience with you guys. We ended up having to purchase a car. It's a used one, but it's a beautiful one to come home. And we celebrated with a lobster dinner for me and a steak dinner for my husband. And we cheered and saluted my nephew from a distance. And just wanted to say congratulations to Private Joseph Reed, United States Marine Corps. Lots of great experiences in your new career. So here, guys, I am doing just a left-hand video for you guys. And then I will also redo this video just a right hand, because sometimes when you're just learning, you just kind of need to slow down and learn one thing at a time. And I was just demonstrating that I put the tips on, I cut them to the length with the tip cutter, and here I'm using a straight edge nail clipper to cut this nail, take some excess off, because I'm going for stiletto on this particular set. I was heading out of town to go to a conference in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with some other salon owners. It was a business trip, so I was able to do a fun set on myself, and I hope you enjoy this. So here I am, I'm cutting the tips off of the nail, like I said. So it is my intention to not to have to file all that excess nail off or tip off if I could cut it off. You know, work smarter, not harder. Now I am going to go into grave detail on this particular video. If you find that I'm talking too much, please feel free to turn the volume down and just observe, okay? So right here, after I use the straight edge nail clipper, I am filing the nail, sort of like tapering it on the side. It's kind of difficult based on the angle of the camera to see that the file is straight up and down. And I am filing from where the nail joins, the tip joins to my nail, all the way to the end of the free edge. And I go from side to side, from the left side to the right side. And you kind of want to keep an eye on this filing process, because it is possible to file one side more than you need to. So, you know, do a couple of files on one side and do some more on the opposite side until you get the desired look that you want. And if you master the shape at this stage of the game, you will be on your way to a perfect set. So I'm just gonna go through each nail. I'm on my left index finger right here, and the nail file is straight up and down. And at some point you're gonna realize how sharp the shape on this nail was. I was so proud of being able to capture this and be able to share it with all you nail bosses. Like I said, I'm doing a couple filing on one side, and you kind of have to know where the center of the nail is so you don't go past it on the left or on the right side. And yeah, so you want to go from the base of the nail. In this shot, you can see that the file is straight up and down against the nail. Very important part of creating the shape at this stage. And even though I cut it on the sides, see how much filing it takes to get the nail into the shape that I wanted. Can you imagine if I did not cut the nail down? So I'm on my ring finger right now. And guys, I can tell you, when I lay this set down, as you watch this video, pay attention to this particular finger and my thumb. I was mesmerized when I was reviewing the video footage, how beautiful those two nails went down. I mean, all of them went down great, but I got some really good angles on that. And if you can expand your video, pinch and expand it so you can get close up to look at the sharpness I got on the nail. I don't know about you, but the thumb used to be my most hated nail to put acrylic on. And lately I have been embracing the thumbnail. And so I guess my attitude was bad towards thumbnails, so they wasn't coming out right. But the thumbnails came out beautiful. The thumb and the ring finger on my left hand is absolutely gorgeous. So at this point, I'm doing some Young Nails Protein Bond. And for those of you who are following, you know that I like to put 2 coats of Protein Bond. Actually, it's manufacturers recommended that you put 2 coats down. And if you're serious about not having lifting and you do a really good prep, this Protein Bond will make your acrylic whole like the Hoover Dam. Okay, so now we're going to move on to, I'm showing you my dapping dish. We're going to be using the Entourage Nail Gallery monomer. Filling up my reservoir, and I'm selecting the powders that I am going to be working with tonight. Like I said, I'm working from home, and this is pre-business trip, and so I wanted my hands to look really good. So at this point, after I prep my nails, I like to put down a really thin layer of clear acrylic. This does a couple of things for me. It ensures that I'm not going to touch anything and put any oils on the pre-prepped nails. 2, if I put colored acrylic down, it doesn't stain my natural nail bed. And 3, I believe clear allows pigmented powder to adhere better to acrylic on acrylic. And so those are the 3 reasons why I never skip this step. Also, if I am working on a guest, sometimes a guest has to stick their hands in their bags. They play with their hair. Whatever the case might be, I really don't want to ruin my prep work. So before they get too fidgety, I like to put just a nice layer of clear down. Remember to wipe your brush off very often, keeping the brush nice and clean so that you can finish the entire job without having to worry about buildup in your brush. So at this point, I am going to put down the actual powder that I'm using, and I couldn't remember the name of this powder, but looking at it, it's some type of a pink powder that I'm using. And yes. So I'm just setting up myself here. I like having my hands to lay on something so I can give the tendons in my hands a break while I'm working on myself. And I got some glitters that I'm intending to encapsulate in these nails. So right here, I just picked up a small bead and I'm going to encapsulate some of these stars into my nail. So guys, I dropped one. And you saw that whole container I had, but I just had to have this one. So the powder is a medium setting powder, and so I had time to play around with picking up that star before it completely dried. So right here, I just dipped my brush in the monomer, in the clear powder, and then with a little bit of acrylic that's on the brush, I was able to successfully pick up some stars and put it down so I didn't repeat the episode of dropping them and having to fish them out. So I put some clear powder and I'm really trying to keep the stars within the confines of the shape of the nail. And then I will come back and encapsulate it so that when I'm filing, I don't rub or file away the stars that I put into the nail. Got some clear, and then I'm covering up the encapsulation, and I'm literally rolling the brush over the top of the acrylic so it sort of like flows over the encapsulation so I'm not moving them. And like I said, guys, feel free to pinch and expand your camera so that you can get a close-up on exactly what it is I'm doing right here. So I'm going for some of that pink powder. And I'm laying it down right behind the encapsulation. And I'm keeping the side walls clean. And then I'm on the sides. And then I'm pulling from the middle down. If this camera is picking up outside sound, I'm in a hotel in North Carolina, like I said, and there are people talking outside. But I really wanted to put this video up, so hopefully it's not too loud. And I'm hoping that you really can't hear them all together. So here it is. I'm getting a small bead, and I'm getting into the cuticle, and I'm pushing it back nice and snug into the cuticle and keeping it flush, but the sidewalls and the cuticles clean. That would avoid you having to do too much work and possibly creating friction in those sensitive areas and hurting your guests. And here I'm just putting a coat of clear over everything. And I usually, when I do that process, I usually start from the back, tuck it in nicely into the back of the nail, and then drag it forward. And that helps me to keep the shape, the teardrop shape on my nail. A little bit more clear. And so right here, I'm building up the free edge with some clear. And like I said, this is a medium setting powder, so I was able to work and stop, and the powder was still pliable. Absolutely love this powder. So I dipped my brush in a monomer, and I picked up a bead, and I'm actually placing it right where my nail join, the free edge and the enhancement. I'm flattening it down in the back, pulling it forward because I want to create an atmosphere that when I put the second bead down, where it joins together, the lump isn't so high that it makes the nail too thick. Yes. Hope that makes sense. So here it is. I am, like you guys can see, I'm working the sides first, making sure that the sidewall is clear of product, and then I pull it from the middle, and then I make sure I clean my brush off well in between applications. Here I'm opting for some silver glitter. I'm not even sure where I got that glitter from. Probably my local nail supply. But I put the brush in the monomer, then I got a little bit of clear, and then I picked up a little bit of the silver, and I'm just gonna sort of like ombre that towards the end, the tip of the nail. Monomer, some clear powder, and you definitely want to pinch the video right here and watch as I roll the clear from the back over the glitter, because I don't want to move the glitter from where I wanted it, and then I don't want it to contaminate, the top of the part that I'm going to be filing, because then you run the risk of filing the glitters away. Beautiful. Clean your brush off, some more monomer, squeeze the excess out, pick up a clear bead, and tuck it in ever so nicely and snug in the back. Pull it from the sides and then the middle. This is a technique, guys, I learned from Greg on Young Nails, and it really does help with the shape of the nail, and it has a different look when you do it that way. Clean the brush off, guys. I'm opting for some clear powder right here to help build up the thickness in the front. Can you see the sidewalls, how clean they are? I love it. So guys, right here, I have no idea what I'm doing with this nail, but I'm trying to do it like a really good freelance job. And in the end, it turned out really pretty, but I went into this not knowing what it is I was doing. I knew I wanted the nails pink, but other than that, that was it. Okay, the ring finger. I don't know, guys, but this finger went down really, really pretty. So I think I am fidgeting here because I'm looking for a contrast powder, and I opted for beige. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Enters the beige powder. And this pink and the beige work so well together. It was a very light transition. And I can see somebody looking at your nails and being like, wow, that's kind of cute. And not realizing that they're looking at a pink and beige ombre. Beautiful. So here it is. I picked up a bead of the beige powder and I put it down, and I'm just distributing it so I can control the shape. So I go right back where I joined it. And really I did that because I wanted to pull from the sides and then the middle to create that hourglass, kind of half hourglass look. Another bead, go to the back of the cuticle, put it down, and make sure that I clean up the side walls, and then I wouldn't have to do that in the end when the nail is already, the acrylic has already hardened. Pulling from the sides and then the middle. Okay, I'm cleaning my brush off, making sure that the side walls remain clean, clear, and free of product. This was something I had to learn to do because I used to always have drainage in the sidewalls, flooded the cuticles. I've come a long way to paying attention to those type of details so that my work comes out a little bit more finished, so that when it's time for me to do my filing and stuff, I'm not working that hard. So right here, I'm putting some clear down because I want to make sure that my cuticle area is snug and tight in here. The apex is to the right height. It's the proportion to my finger. And I usually get one bead to cover the whole nail, or close to covering the whole nail. And so I can have that like nice smooth overlay on top of, the colored acrylic I put down. That way, when it comes time to refining and buffing the nail, I just have so much less work to do.
Carson, you're a smart guy.
I'm observing it from different angles. And when I to put my hand on something as simple as a little jar, another one of the acrylic jars, I can do a slight roll of my wrist and inspect my nails so that I can see if the apex is in the right place, if the thickness is in the right spot. And that helps me towards the end when I am finishing up these nails. Right here, I'm putting down another bead on the pinky finger, joining the free edge to my natural nail. This was slightly runny, but I managed to save it. And I'm putting it, smoothing it down from the sides first, and then pulling it down in the middle. Like I said, this is a technique I learned from when I took a class from Young Nails, and it's so aesthetically pleasing to the eye when you pull from the sides and then the middle.
It's not a bad deal, Carson.
There's just something that it does, and I like that look. Give you sort of like a half hourglass shape.
Oh, man.
I'm going towards the back of the cuticle. And like you guys can see, I didn't hold it long enough for it to solidify on my brush, and so it was a little bit drainy here. And I may or may not have a little bit of cuticle flooding, but I'm quite sure. There we go. Clean that bad boy up.
Suit yourself.
Don't leave your lint in there. Take that lint out while it's still pliable. Yes. And if you get a nice smooth lay of the acrylic, it is so much easier when you have to file and refine. And I'm going down with that clear that I like to put over my work and smooth it down. And like I said, I pretty much can use one. At this point, I can do the one bead method. But if I try to use the one bead method to put the colored powder and stuff, I don't know if I don't have the confidence or not, but for some reason, I can only do it when I'm doing a clear on the top. So I'm about to do the thumb. And making sure my brush is clean, dip it into the monomer, and I'm going to pick up some pink powder, and I'm holding it on the brush. When I shake the brush like that, it's because I have a little bit of dry spots, and I want to actually bring the liquid down to moisten those dry spots, because I don't like to see the dry powder in the nail. And it really weakens the structure of the nails when you have dry powder. So I put the beads down where the nail, my natural nail and the synthetic free edge meet together, the tip, and building the structure from there. And I got some beige to the back. And this ombre is slight variation, slight shift of the eyes. If you're having problems doing ombres and you want to try two colors that are almost the same so you get the hang of it, the beige and the pink almost blend together, you have to like really look at it to see the color shift. That's perfect. And then once you get more comfortable, you can work with some more contrasting colors so that you don't have to, so that you've mastered the blend.
Or lactose intolerance. But with Kaiser Permanente, you can choose your doctor who works with other best-in-class specialists.
Yeah, I'm still working on the thickness of the nail towards the front, and keeping the side of the nails nice and clean and sharp as much as I can, so that I'm not really having to work so hard to blend the nail, to put it back into shape and buff it out.
With NJM, you get a dedicated rep whose top priority is you.
Here it is. I'm going back in with some clear, and I'm pulling from the sides, just gently finessing the powder where you need it. And she looked kind of pretty, guys. Feel free, like I said, pinch and expand the video. You can see what I'm talking about. You can leave in the comment section a little bit of pointers if you find something didn't look quite the way it should. Let me know what you think about this method. But look at the sharpness on those nails. And I always keep an eye out for the proportion. What does the nail look like on my hand? Is it fitting within the cuticle and the sidewalls? Is it too thick? We're not creating talons, eagle talons here, guys. It's just, and I'm saying this to myself, we're not creating eagle talons because I have done that in the past where I put too much powder. It's too thick, it's bulky, it's chunky. And so I'm speaking to myself when I say, keep an eye out for that. Guys, my cinematography is awful. So when my hand goes off camera, this is an opportunity for you to imagine, I wonder what she's doing back there. It's my little gift to you in my videos, a little imagination time. So proof that this powder is slow setting. At some point I'm going to flip my hands over and I'm going to notice that gravity sort of like push the powder down on one side. So all this fidgeting that I'm doing right here is taking time, right? And I want you to observe when I put my hand back down and I roll my wrist, you're going to see where the powder started moving right there. Yes. So I had enough time to come back and put it back into shape. So for all you newbies, beginners who are having, you're so nervous that the powder is going to set before you're ready to do it, please understand that you do have time. And if you need a powder that will wait for you, Entourage Nail Gallery powder is the one for you. And I'm not saying that because it's my label, the powder. You saw it with your own two eyes that the powder will wait for you. Okay? So feel free. This is the finished look of it right now before I file and buff it. Had a little bit of drainage. And guys, even though you saw me cleaning up the nails, you do sometimes get a little bit of, just the slightest amount of powder will make that stick to your skin. And you'll have to file it away. So right here, I'm being very careful on filing it away. And think about it, the skin is so sensitive on the fingers. You really don't want to be flooding to the point where you're cutting your guests or yourself when you have to go back and clean that up. And once again, the angle is weird here, but trust and believe you me, at some point you're going to see, apart from going underneath and cleaning the underneath, the file is being held straight up and down. Very nice. I was getting a little bit higher for that Monobar filled paper towel, so I had to get rid of it. Reshaping the nail here. And like I said, this is all dominant hand to the non-dominant hand work. So I'm right-handed, so my right hand to the left hand. On another video, I will do this same nail job, but I will do the entire right hand, so the non-dominant hand to the dominant hand, my left hand to the right hand, for whoever needs that. Something specifically to deal with the issues you're having when working on the opposite hand. So guys, I have about 2 more minutes left on this video. Like I said, you're not going to see the conclusion. And when I work on myself, I like to use the arbor bands because it ensures that I'm not going to cut myself. And I most definitely do use a medium and a fine drill bit at times, but in this case I opted for the arbor bands, and I'm working on keeping the proportion of the nail within the cuticle and the sidewalls. I'm reducing unnecessary bulk and really shaping this nail to my hand. So now that we just about to the conclusion, I just wanted to say once again, congratulations to my nephew on his graduation Marine Corps. I am so sorry that I was unable to make it because my car died, but my spirit was with him, and I look forward to him having an amazing career and traveling the world with the U.S. Marine Corps. My husband is Army. He did join the military. He chose his own uniform, and we are so proud of him. And I look forward to all the adventures you're going to have in your new career and serving your country. Congratulations, United States Marine Private Joseph Reed.